6th birthday. McGriff has been around since the early days of NASCAR, competing in the first Southern 500 at Darlington in 1950, nearly 43 years ago. He's driven just about every type of car on every type of racetrack, super speedways, short tracks, road courses, and street circuits. In 1954, he was the pole sitter for the first Pacific Coast late model race, which later became the WINSTON West Series. Herschel is still very much active today and was honored with the NASCAR Award of Excellence in 1991 at the Winston Cup Awards banquet in New York City by NASCAR President Bill France Jr.
He's flown the NASCAR colors for all of us over the world, from Le Mans to Australia. He's still racing today, serving as a true inspiration to all of us who have spent the past 4 decades promoting NASCAR. No one has been a better representative over the long haul. A truly nice guy. This year's winner from Bridal Veil, Oregon, Herschel McGriff. Come on up, Herschel.
What is a mountain man's?
Just about to come off our 7th caution period of the afternoon. The lights atop the pace car are out. The pace car heads for pit road, and here comes the field led by Darrell Waldrop. Now, Dale Earnhardt got his nose to the inside, but of course did not make the pass as they came down to get the green. And Tim Steele, there he is, taking the green flag from the rear of the pack.
Man, what a costly mistake that young man made. I tell you one thing, he probably won't make it again.
Well, we heard John Curtis say that he is obsessed with making Winston Cup racing, and that's one of the things that he has heard on his plate.
So, guys, when Tim Steele pitted on the same lap as Darrell Waltrip, not only did he have to go to the end of the longest line, but he only got 3 tires on. They were unable, there was some confusion in the pit. They were unable to change that left front tire. But, as we said earlier, they did about 80 laps on the left side. They decided not to bring him in, just go ahead and leave him on out. So he's got 3 new tires, 1 old tire, and how does that feel when you drive a race car?
Gas mileage
Fuel mileage.
before the rain came. Here he's sitting a lap ahead of the field and turning laps about 0.3 of a second a lap faster than the pole speed here the other day. Yeah, he's turned 38.58 the last time around.
Darrell didn't have such a good race yesterday at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Had a good run going, Bob, and then he broke a camshaft.
But you know, Ned,
Chevrolet, and just had to park it.
The thing that he seemed to be more concerned about was he broke a transmission yesterday, trying to leave the pits in Atlanta, and he was really concerned about what he has to do to fix that problem. I mean, the engine, you're going to have engine problems, but transmissions are supposed to be bulletproof.
Well, the battle for third place has reared its head again as Earnhardt and Herschel McGriff are nose to tail.
It's great to see the oldest man in racing that I know of right now, at least in this form of competition, out here battling with these guys. And yesterday, it was one of the youngest, Jeff Gordon, battling all day with Rusty Wallace and Mark Martin and Morgan Shepherd and those guys that were running up front. Just a very impressive young man. Look at Earnhardt's car go a little high. Herschel takes advantage of it, tries to come back down under it.
Herschel's first stock car race was September of 1945 in Portland, Oregon.
Wow.
That was before I was even thought about.
Wow, 1945.
Isn't that something?
Well, I'll tell you, I remember the Hickory Speedway where I grew up, in the first race that I ever drove in was at the Hickory Speedway in 1953. And they started running what was Grand National then at the Hickory Speedway. And I remember Herschel McGriff coming there. That name stuck in my mind. It was a dirt track, and boy, to see him drive that track, I mean, it was really something to see. And you know, it was years and years before I ever met him, but I remember seeing him drive there.
I'll tell you what, he's not doing too bad today, Ned.
Look at this. He is. Now he's door handle to door handle with Earnhardt.
You don't mind getting in there and mixing it up. Oh, he's having a ball right now. You know he's just having the time of his life.
Yep, he really is. Running against a man who's half his age.
And he's past Earnhardt.
Yep.
Go and get out in front of him there. Herschel, you got him cleared. There he did. Moved back up. He was standing down on the inside, not sure that he was totally by him, I think. Earnhardt's car seems to be pushing up a little bit in the center of the turns. He's had that problem most of the day.
So Herschel's back in third now. Earnhardt is fourth.
Yeah, we can see Earnhardt when he comes off the fourth corner go right up to that gray stuff. And I'd probably have to back off the gas to keep him hitting the wall.
boys right on the back. And that's Earnhardt saying, hey, old man, how you like this black car right on the tail of that thing?
Yeah, you know, we've been talking about how much of a ball Herschel's having. I think Dale's probably having as good a time as Herschel is.
I'm sure he's enjoying it, and really his car would work a little bit better behind Herschel than it did in front of him, because
are driven by Winston West drivers. And that is for 6th, 7th, and 8th right there. Now, Corelli has fallen off the pace here. He lost 2 positions there.
he was being shown in the 6th position.
Yeah.
Now he's dropped back to 8th.
Derek Steele is once again the 1992 NASCAR Northwest Tour champion. They have the Northwest Tour and the Southwest Tour. And this is the Winston West, so they have 3 NASCAR divisions on the West Coast.
There is Ron Esau. Started 20th, running 7th. His best finish previously here at Texas World was 6th a year ago.
I asked Bill Sedgwick what he was going to do today, and he said he would probably be in the pits helping be crew chief.
Well, he'll no doubt go after his 3rd consecutive NASCAR Winston West championship, but has decided to sit out the first race of the year. Well, let's go down to John Kernan, who's in Herschel McGriff's pit area. John, what you got?
Well, Bob, we've caught up with Steve Peterson, the crew chief. Herschel looks like he's having a ball out there. Steve, what's he saying on the radio?
He hasn't had this much fun since his last Super Speedway race, which was Darlington about 4 years ago. He's having a ball. I think he really enjoyed this.
Tell me a little bit about the car. I know it's a Whitcomb car. Is that the one they won the Daytona 500 with?
No, actually not. It was a short track car that's been converted. Oh, all the credit here to the Strouser people. They've done a heck of a job. You know, Star Race Computers, Tonka Toys, done a great job for this team.
That's Steve Peterson, Herschel McGriff's crew chief, and they're having a ball down here, guys.
Herschel McGriff from Bridal Veil, Oregon. You're watching the Western Auto Shootout 2 from Texas World Speedway near College Station, and we'll be right back.
On the ground, you know, we ought to give some credit to the fellows who set these cars up for the Winston Cup drivers, because they had to be in Atlanta. Jeff McClure set up Darrell Walters, Western Auto Chevrolet, qualified the car, and set the car up. Darrell, all he had to do was come in, jump in it, and go racing.
Well, the 16 car of Tim Steele, as you can see, is catching Dale Earnhardt for 4th place. Nope, he is passing Dale Earnhardt for 4th place.
I tell you what, this young man is really running a great race. We talked about setting up cars. The 3-car was set up by Neil Bonnet. He came in, set the car up, and qualified it for Dale Earnhardt. And Jimmy Hensley was the fellow who came in and set up the 52 car, the Kodiak Chevrolet, for Ken Schrader.
Now we'll see if Steele in number 16 can catch the 3rd place car of Herschel McGriff. There's Herschel in 04 at the front of that group of cars. There is Steele. They got Bob Breback between them.
Doesn't take him long to go by Breback on the outside.
Now, he's running very strong, but he is not running the lap times that Darrell Waltrip is. He was far back, caught Dale Earnhardt, caught a lot of other cars, as a matter of fact, and passed him, and now has passed Earnhardt and moved into the 4th position. I'm talking about Tim Steele, but he's still running about 0.2 of a second slower than Darrell Waltrip is running. Now you wonder why Darrell's running as fast as he is when he's in a lap by himself. He's trying to keep everybody a lap down.
That's right.
Why he's running that fast.
because Kim Schrader is just not that far behind Darrell Waltrip. If Waltrip slows down the least bit, Schrader will get by him, and the caution flag comes out. He'll be able to go around and make up that entire lap. This here sponsor on the side of STEELE's car, H&S Dye and Engineering. Boy, Earnhardt's car is really pushing, Ned.
It sure is, just right way up in those turns.
Steele has his eyes set on Herschel McGriff, the burgundy car up in front of this red car. That's third place. Tell you what, if he can do that, if he can start at the rear and pass these guys on the green flag and get up to third place, he's done a job.
Impressive, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Very impressive.
The car they just went around, by the way, is the 07 car of John Walker, and the last time we saw that car was parked in the mud down here in turn 4. They did get it out, needless to say, and got him back out on the track, but he threw mud everywhere going down pit road.
Steele closes in on Herschel McGriff, getting closer and closer.
Of course, Tim Steele is an ARCA driver, so he's not going to take the lead away from Herschel, who is leading Winston West.
Now we can see just a few car lengths, 20-25 car lengths separating these two cars.
And laps winding down.
They're going to be making pit stops here pretty soon, aren't they, Ned?
Well, I don't think
think?
Darrell Waltrip's going to make a pit stop. I don't think he has to make another one.
Really?
And anybody else, they should go within at least 5 laps at the end of the race before they would need fuel.
We're 16 laps away from the end. There's Bobby Boucher, who has had his problems.
Of course, now Darrell don't have to gamble. He can come in and get some gas if he wants to.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
But I'll bet he won't. I won't bet a whole lot, though.
Tell you what, Herschel McGriff has maintained that distance between he and Tim Steele.
Sure has. Herschel's right on the bottom of the track.
And race cars have changed so much since 1945 when he started, Ned.
Oh, boy.
I mean, they've changed so much in the last 5 years.
Yes, they have. Changed tremendously. The aerodynamics of the car, that's one of the biggest changes that we've seen, but certainly the chassis and all of the things that helps to make a race car handle.
And tires.
Changed.
They're running radial tires now, and Herschel McGriff has went through all this.
Yeah.
Now Steele looks like he's getting a little closer. Yep, he is closer. Looks like he's cut the margin in half.
Ford running good. Tim Steele.
This is the battle for third position overall. Tim Steele moving to the inside of Herschel McGriff now in turn number 1.
Herschel gives him plenty of room, but Steele had to back off the gas because his angle was just not good getting in the corner.
There's 40 years of difference between these two race drivers. Steele is 25 and Herschel 65.
Now this time Steele's able to get a better angle for the corner. Goes in wide, comes down. Now he should be able to move up on the back of Herschel McGriff and maybe draft by him down the straightaway. He needs to get a good run on him. Draft, now swing to the inside. He can't do it. Herschel able to pull him down the straightaway. Good battle.
Herschel McGriff has 35 victories in Winston West competition, and he could pick up number 36 here this afternoon. And again, he's not the overall leader of the race, but he is the best of the Winston West drivers. Well, this may involve whether to stop for fuel.
They're all trying to figure out just how far. That's Tim Steele's pits. They're trying to figure out how far he can go on fuel. Will he have to stop? Now he's trying once again to go by Herschel. Has a run, has a draft going. Pulls alongside, and Bob Keselowski comes down pit road.
We were wondering if that might create a yellow. It will not, because Bob Keselowski made it onto pit road, but it's some smoke coming from the rear of that car as Steele and McGriff now are side by side battling for third position. Tim is to the inside, is going to pass Herschel going into turn number 3, but Herschel battles back on the outside.
Goes back on the outside. Well, this racetrack is so smooth. These cars are able to run side by side. No problem whatsoever.
They did a great job repaving this thing because, Benny, you explained how rough it was before they brought in the road graders and the repaving machines, and they have just made this super smooth. It's a great racing facility here at Texas World and a great race going on. We're just a few laps away from the finish at Texas World Speedway. Leads the Western Auto Shootout 2 at Texas World Speedway. He's on the lead lap by himself. There's Barry Dodson, who is the crew chief for Darrell Waltrip. Now, right behind him is Ken Schrader. In fact, Schrader is within a couple of car lengths now, but again, he will only be getting a lap back if he passes Darrell with 7 laps to go.
I don't think we've mentioned it, Bob, but this car that Darrell Waltrip is driving, and Kenny Schrader, the car number 25, and Dale Earnhardt, now these are not their regular Winston Cup cars. These are cars that they own themselves. Each of them has a race team that they run in Busch Grand National, and of course in events like this occasionally. And they also, I believe, all of them have cars that would run in like an ASA type of race. I know Darrell and Schrader both have cars of that sort.
And Darrell Waltrip did bring his Winston Cup crew to pit his car. Kenny Schrader is using his Busch team to pit, and Dale Earnhardt is using Tony Eury and his Busch team to pit his car. Old DW, that fuel mileage once again.
Yep.
More and more races we're seeing decided by gasoline mileage, and Darrell Waltrip is the absolute king of going more miles than anyone else.
I think there's several things that you can say about that. One is that his engine people know what they're doing in building the engines and setting the carburetor up just right, jetting it so that it gets maximum power, at the same time get as much fuel mileage as it can. But he also, in the way he presses that accelerator, has a whole lot to do with that gas mileage.
Yep.
Very, very smooth on and off the gasoline.
5 laps to go. Darrell Waltrip on his way to victory for his car sponsor, Western Auto, who are sponsoring this race.
And I tell you what, no one has dove on pit road yet.
Nope.
There's Schrader, the Kodiak Chevrolet. Still staying out there. And Schrader, I'm sure, is wishing this was for the win. He could probably push the gasoline just a little bit harder, the accelerator a little harder, if it was for the win other than getting a lap back.
Well, Ken Schrader has won in ARCA stock car competition, and Schrader has also won in ARCA midget racing. There's Herschel McGriff, who runs in 4th place now behind Tim Steele there in the red number 16, just ahead of him. So there's 3rd and 4th. Back in 5th is Dale Earnhardt.
Tell you what, Herschel's hanging tough.
Look at him come in there, drove hard into that turn.
He sure did. Now there's a slow car there. If Steele has to back off, it might give Herschel an opportunity. But Bill Smith moves up. Steele's able to go by. Now they're diving on the inside of another slow car. Now Steele back to the outside. Well, he's doing a pretty good job in traffic, Ned.
Yes, he is doing a great job. Herschel came awfully close to that car, but he got on around him. But they ran into some heavy traffic here in the last couple of laps.
That's one of the Woodland cars, the Woodland Duck Farms out of California cars.
Driven by Butch Gilliland from Anaheim, one of the Winston West drivers.
Robert Ham in the other red car that Tim Steele drove by.
Herschel slipped just a little bit coming off of turn 2 over there. Cost him a little bit of time there. I think he had to back off the gas.
3 laps to go now as Ken Schrader pulls in on Darrell Waltrip. I'm wondering how many people in the grandstand know that Waltrip is on a lap by himself, or whether they think this is the battle for the lead.
Well, they're standing up like it's a battle for the lead.
Yeah, they are.
And Darrell might let him pass him coming down for the checkered flag. Nah, he won't do that.
If they just in case those scores group
Right.
up, which they haven't, but don't think he will. I don't know.
This will complete number 154. 2 laps to go for Darrell Waltrip in the Western Auto Shootout 2. Well, the Winston Cup drivers have been pretty impressive here. If things finish the way they are right now, they'll finish 1st, 2nd, and 5th.
And I tell you what, the Winston West drivers, owners, the ARCA drivers and owners have found out that the Winston Cup is the absolute best race car drivers in the world. Darrell Waltrip, Kenny Schrader, Dale Earnhardt, they are so good. And when it comes to driving these race cars, it just blows your mind.
And of course, one thing that helps to make them good is their race cars. They know how to build and set up race cars for a super speedway like this.
Jim Clark, the ARCA flagman, displays the white flag, and there is one more lap to go. One more tour around the 2-mile D-shaped oval here at Texas World, and Darrell Waltrip will have another victory.
I'm sure the people at Western Auto are tickled to death. He's able to pull in the victory circle and congratulate. And Schrader is out of gas. Schrader has run out of fuel going down the back straightaway. He can't even contend, and he may be able to.
He might be able to coast around Bennett. The third place car is pretty far behind him. He might be able to coast to the.
I think he's going to. Here is Darrell Waltrip coming down through the tri-oval and taking the checkered flag. Darrell Waltrip wins the Western Auto Shootout 2. And Ken Schrader, despite the fact that he's out of fuel, does finish in second position, crossing the line before Tim Steele and Herschel McGriff got there. And that was a pretty good battle down to the finish line for Steele and McGriff, but I believe Steele got him.
I think he did too, and Dale Earnhardt able to hang on to fifth.
Here they are coming down now for the checkered flag. This is the battle for third position. Steele and McGriff. McGriff to the inside as they cross the line. Yeah, it was about a car length separation between the two. Steele third, Herschel McGriff fourth, and Dale Earnhardt finishes in fifth position. Stevie Waltrip among those very, very happy that they made the journey down here to Texas World Speedway because they have pulled off the victory. There's Barry Dotson, who has a smile on his face.
Billy Hodges, all talking to each other, congratulating each other. And this is how we did it. Earnhardt comes up, congratulates Darrell on the victory.
Yep. Herschel McGriff has already done so. McGriff and Earnhardt go to the garage area while Darrell Waltrip raises the left hand in the air, and he is headed for victory circle.
And we saw Ken Schrader being pushed down pit road the wrong way. When he crossed the start-finish line, he just stopped and came up pit road the wrong way. And Darrell has missed victory lane. He's on the grass. Back up a little bit, DW. He said that's okay.
Waltrip taking off the gloves and unbuckling the helmet.
Now, for the Winston Cup fans or anyone that might not know, this does not count as a NASCAR Winston Cup victory. There are no points involved. In fact, he didn't earn any points at all today. He filed an entry as an ARCA driver and will not even get ARCA points, so he didn't get any points. Gets money.
There's Schrader. He's gotten out of the car, and he's probably headed over to victory lane to congratulate Darrell. There's the man who is... Herschel McGriff may be 65, but Waltrip was the one that had difficulty getting the bones rearranged and getting out of his car. He is the winner of the Western Auto Shootout 2, and we will be back to talk with Darrell Waltrip in